we are students from San Beda, Alabang, and we're gonna conduct a questionnaire for our thesis for fourth year. And our research title is called "The Importance of Chinatown on the Economic Development." And
Okay.
these are the questions.
Questions. Okay. Question number
What number?
The major one is the importance of Chinatown to economic development.
Yeah, and those are the sub questions.
So question one. Okay. Excuse me. What do we need to know about Chinatown? Basically, Chinatown is the oldest area in the whole of Southeast Asia where Chinese people immigrated and started to flourish. And basically, it is located here in Manila, Philippines. So, among the Chinatowns of all over the world, it is best to say, actually, we know that Chinatown in Manila is the oldest existing Chinatown all over the world. Now, what are the strengths and opportunities in Manila, Chinatown? Well, if you're going to ask me, in Chinatown, andun lahat yung supplier.
The supplier.
Andun lahat. From textile, supplies, school supplies, office supplies, plastics, machineries, food. Basically, importation in the olden days and during the 60s, 70s, well, I think up to now it still holds true. There's what you would call the Binondo Central Bank. It's called it's a downtown group of businessmen that basically handles a lot of money.
Only for Chinese.
Not really, but usually I wouldn't use the word dictate, but usually they control majority of the investments in a certain area. But in this case, in our country, so how important is Chinatown as an individual? Pretty much big kasi the area is small, but if we're talking in terms of monetary or financial strength, I would use the word the money is in Binondo. Makati is more of pakitang tao. Pakitang tao, for show.
For show lang.
It's basically the address of Makati is, when you say you're in Makati, it's glitzy, like or in Ortigas. It's all named, but the money really is all the way down in Binondo. We called it the Binondo Central Bank or the Chinatown area. So,
Question
B.
Economic networks.
Economic network adopted by the Filipino-Chinese. What are the arrangement of Filipino-Chinese communities in Manila, Chinatown? Basically, arrangement of Filipino-Chinese community in Manila, Chinatown. What kind of, you have to specify what kind of arrangement. Because if we're talking economics, economically, as a Filipino Chinese, one thing I can say growing up, the Chinese heritage basically shows that name is important. Name. Why name? Your name carries the weight of everything about your family, about your business, about who you are. So if you say, for example, you're Lushotan, comes to your mind, pal, everything, bigatin, everybody. So, and when you join business with Lushotan, when he says, I'm gonna get from you, your name is already synonymous with the businesses of Lushotan. Kapit na yun eh. So, name dropping is very common in Chinese, but basically it's more of, if I trust you to do business, basically there is what you would call a goodwill already, and it's quite different from I mean, trust is given first in Chinese. So if you break that trust once, you cannot go anywhere. Your name is already tarnished. So if your name is synonymous with integrity, honesty, people will give you credit. Now, if your name is bad, no one wouldn't even sell you their goods. Okay.
Do you have any regulation?
I don't understand the word of regulation, but everything basically, I think the regulation you're saying is more of laws, and Chinese basically still follow the rules of the land. So whatever the law of the land is, that's what they follow. So business organization here in China. Actually, fortunately for now, I'm not, but the Filipino-Chinese business community, whether you're involved or not, as there are two kinds, by name only, or you're involved in the organization itself. The organization itself, there are a lot of organizations like the Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce and all of those. We belong to those, but we're not that active, because basically it's just, when you go to those kind of organizations, it's looking for contacts. Connections. That's basically it. Economic networking. It's networking. Everything's networking. So
How would you like to know more about being part of the organization?
well, knowing if you want to be part of it, if we Chinese, basically it's always invited. Always invited to be part of an organization. When being invited, you have to go. Of course, there's a lot of luncheon meeting, a lot of meetings. Usually, it's part of lunch or dinner, and you have to go to those kind of dinner, conferences, meetings, talk to people. It's basically socialization, because you need contacts. Once you get the contacts, then we talk one-on-one, not on the organization but outside already. Because, like, for example, I'm opening a metal fabrication shop, let's say here in Paranaque. I need suppliers, so I go to my organization. Sir, do you know anyone in this? You go look for this. Tell them Mr. So and so recommended you. So we go to that person, and Mr. So and so recommended you. So once you were recommended, his name carries weight when you get referred, and that person immediately accords the respect to you as how he had respected the person that referred you. That's how it is, by connection.
And for the last mechanisms of Chinatown as a strategy of the Filipino Chinese, can you mention any significant historical events that happened in Chinatown? Chinatown's economic network that influenced the growth of the Mando.
Very simple. Banking industry.
The bank.
With the exception of BPI, which is owned by the Ayalas, can you name any other bank that is not owned by any Filipino?
Chinatown.
Is owned by Peter D. Oh. The wife is Yuchenko D, which owns RCBC.
Oh.
Okay. Bank of Commerce are also Chinese. Before, the Interbank, Security Bank, all those are Chinese before. I don't know if I know I'm not sure of the newer ones, but the old ones, like, with the exception of PNB, China Bank, Allied Bank, Metro Bank, forefront of the banking industry, with the exception of BPI only, are all established by Chinese Filipino businessmen. With the exception of maybe like Union Bank. I'm not so sure about Union Bank, but I know the East-West is by the Gotianun. They're also, yan. Who else? Basically everyone's, with the exception only of PPI, of what I know. Yeah.
And the last question, what impact did this event have on the communities to the economic?
We're just gonna go simplify on the bank only. If we're talking the banking industry, it has a very big impact. Because what do banks do? Financial services. And that in itself drives the economy. We're not even going into other areas of the industry. We're just centering only on financial services.
Okay.
Money's from the bank. So the banking industry is the one that they're cultivating. So right now, if you take a look, majority of the big banks are Chinese owned. Okay? Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
participating in the interview.
Thank you very much.
Again, you're with
With Walter Ko.
Mr. Ko
Yes.
is business.
I'm a Filipino-Chinese businessman, but I live here in Paraguay.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time.